What would you trade for fame, wealth, and glory? Your name? Your time? What if it was your shadow? In a forgotten village, one boy dared to bargain with ancient spirits only to learn that not all gifts come free. Long ago, in the emerald hills of Imbaya, where the rivers sang and trees whispered to each other, there lived a boy named Tendo. He was like any other boy, loved to chase goats, steal mangoes, and nap beneath the giant baobab tree. But there was one thing that made him different. Tendo wanted to be known. He wanted songs sung in his name. He wanted to be great, not just in his village, but across all the lands. He would often sit by the river and say aloud to the wind, "Spirits of the sky, I don't want an ordinary life." What he didn't know was someone was listening, the arrival of the whisperer. One day, an old woman came to the village. Her hair was like ash, her eyes like moonlight. She didn't walk, she glided, and wherever she passed, the air grew still. She called herself Mama Ngozi, but some whispered she was not of this world. That night, as Tendo wandered alone, Mama Ngozi appeared from the shadows. "You wish to be remembered?" she asked, her voice soft as silk but sharp as a blade. Tendo nodded. "I can give you fame, riches, glory beyond imagining, but," she paused, "you must trade something of yours." "What do I have?" Tendo asked, confused. She smiled. "Your shadow." The bargain, Tendo laughed. "Just my shadow?" Mama Ngozi nodded. "It follows you but serves no purpose, yet it holds a part of your soul." "What will happen if I give it to you?" "You will no longer be ordinary," she replied, "but you may never walk among shadows again." Blinded by ambition, Tendo agreed. She drew a circle of salt, lit a blue flame, and spoke words that tasted like dust. His shadow rose behind him, stretched, twisted, and then disappeared into her long black jar. It was done. From that day, Tendo cast no shadow. The rise of Tendo. The very next morning, things began to change. When Tendo spoke, crowds gathered. When he danced, drums played without drummers. When he sang, the wind carried his voice to distant villages. He was called Tendo the Gifted, and kings summoned him. Gold was placed at his feet. Girls wept just to see him pass. Elders said he must be a god, but some noticed something strange. He cast no shadow. At first, people ignored it, but soon fear crept in. One old seer warned, "No man without a shadow walks free of consequence." Tendo laughed it off. "Let them fear. I was made for greatness." But greatness has a price, the price of the trade. Tendo's nights were plagued by dreams. He saw twisted versions of himself, shadow figures calling him into dark rivers, whispering in languages he couldn't understand. He could no longer enter temples. The animals of the wild ran from him. Children cried when he passed. And Mama Ngozi? Gone. No one remembered her name but Tendo. Worse, he began to feel hollow. Food tasted like sand. Music no longer stirred his soul. He was surrounded by adoration, but his heart was empty. He returned to Mbayai, but the villagers kept their distance. Tendo the Shadowless, they called him. Tendo the Cursed. His fame had become his prison. The journey to the shadow world. One day, desperate and broken, Tendo climbed the sacred hill of Kalama, where the line between worlds was thin. He cried out to the ancestors, "I made a mistake. I want my shadow back." For hours there was silence. Then the wind shifted. A voice rose from the rocks. "You must enter the shadow world and face what you gave away." Tendo hesitated. "Will I survive?" "Only if you have learned what it means to live with emptiness and to fill it with truth." A crack opened beneath the baobab. A staircase of smoke led downward. With courage burning where pride once lived, Tendo descended, the realm of shadows. The shadow world was not dark. It was dim. Everything looked faded, like old memories. Trees whispered in reverse, rivers flowed upward, and everywhere shades of people wandered, people who had traded pieces of themselves for things they thought they needed. Fame, beauty, power, love. He saw a man without eyes, weeping gold coins, a woman without a voice, clutching a crown. And then at the center of it all, his own shadow, tall and twisted, bound in chains. It snarled at him. "You gave me away." "I was foolish," Tendo replied. You traded your truth for applause. Now feel what it's like to live empty. The shadow lunged. The battle of the self Tendo ran, but everywhere he turned, the shadow followed. It whispered his lies. It echoed his pride. It showed him every selfish choice he made. He fell to his knees. I was wrong, he wept. Greatness is not in being above others, it's in serving them. His tears hit the ground and glowed. Suddenly a drumbeat echoed through the realm. Tum, tum, tum. From the light of his regret, a blade formed, shaped not of steel, but of truth. He stood and faced his shadow. I am not the boy who traded you, he said. I am the man who wants to be whole again. He struck. Redemption. The shadow howled, then melted into mist. The sky above cracked open. Tendo awoke beneath the baobab tree, his shadow by his side. He felt lighter, but fuller. He returned to the village of Mbaya, not with gold, not with a royal title, but with stories, with wisdom, and with humility. He taught the children. He helped the farmers. He sang songs, not about himself, but about honor, humility, and home. And so in time, they still sung his name, but not as Tendo the Shadowless. He was remembered as Tendo the Whole. Moral lessons. What you trade for success may cost more than you know. True greatness is not found in fame, but in service. Every part of you, even your shadow, holds meaning. Regret can break you, but truth can remake you. Would you trade your shadow for fame? Would you trade your peace for praise? This tale reminds us that what we chase might cost us what we truly need. If this story moved you, like, comment, and subscribe to African Tales Daily for more original stories filled with heart, heritage, and hidden truths. Tell us in the comments, what would you never trade no matter the offer? And don't forget to share this story with someone who might be walking their own path through shadows.